Women and attention seeking. Well, you see, it's quite the conundrum. Women, in some cases, indeed post rather alluring images to pique the interest of their male counterparts. Now, what can be done to alter this dynamic, you might ask? Why? Let's dive into why men are steering clear of the whole marriage business these days. You see, the contemporary landscape of marriage carries significant legal consequences that make many men think twice, or even thrice, about tying the knot. We're talking about a particularly Western phenomenon here, as regions like Russia, Asia, and Eastern Europe might have different predicaments. It's all about the risks and rewards, my friends. In today's world, marriage can be quite the high-stakes game for men, with limited potential returns, all thanks to the evolution of family law over the years. It's one of the core issues that's steering men away from it. Family law has evolved to a point where it's become a high-risk, low-reward scenario for men, while women can often benefit significantly, especially if they decide to part ways. A striking 80% of divorces kick off with women initiating the process, often with some financial foresight. The outcome, as you may know, often results in a division of assets that leaves men in quite a pinch. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Even without the official marriage certificate, in many Western countries, merely cohabiting for an extended period can be recognized as a common law marriage by the state. So, when the split happens, well, the law tends to treat it like a divorce. This includes the whole shebang: child custody and marital assets, and these are typically geared towards benefiting women. Marriage trap for men. This raises another pressing question. Why on earth would a man consider marriage when they see so many of their brethren losing parental rights to women who, let's be honest, might not be putting the kiddos first? They end up waving goodbye to a substantial chunk of their hard-earned cash, sending it to the ex-wife, and witnessing their bond with their offspring deteriorate. Quite the head-scratcher, isn't it? For a valid reason, such women are often referred to as divorce machines. The predicament of men deliberately and strategically avoiding marriage is a conundrum. As many men have asked, how can one fulfill the innate desire to propagate their lineage? By nature, men have evolved to disseminate their genetic material, while women tend to seek the most suitable partners who can provide, raise children, and manage resources for the betterment of family and community. Despite these two distinct dynamics, the state of family law is so dire that it appears irrational for any man to willingly enter into a situation that the state would legally deem as a marriage. Why would anyone willingly place themselves in a scenario where the state could potentially dictate the fate of their assets, monthly income, and parental rights? Moreover, family law is structured in a way that often disincentivizes fair treatment or prioritizes the best interests of the children. It frequently operates against the interests of men. This, in part, contributes to the issue. The design of family law seems to amplify women's hypergamous tendencies when divorce is on the horizon. As you may already be aware, women often seek stability and upgrades in their circumstances. While some women might argue that their divorces did not unfold this way, and that they ended up financially supporting their ex-partners, these situations are relatively uncommon. They typically occur in clear-cut cases where a woman's intent to seize all of a man's resources is evident, even when the man has not committed wrongdoing, such as infidelity, abuse, or neglect. In such cases, judges might rule in favor of the man, albeit rarely. Nevertheless, owing to the dynamics of the dating and relationship landscape, men frequently find themselves marrying attractive women whose social status is slightly below their own. However, when divorce enters the picture, the woman often seeks to maintain or improve her social standing, resulting in contentious divorce proceedings where she gains control over the man's finances and assets. Ultimately, this situation underscores the challenge men face in reconciling their biological urges, and women are not taking steps to address this issue. Historical comparison. Let's draw a comparison to history. When indigenous populations encountered white European settlers in North America, the odds were stacked against them. The settlers had cannons and rifles, while the indigenous had spears and wooden arrows. It was a clear disadvantage. This situation mirrors what men often face in marriage today. The legal system seems designed to unleash a barrage of challenges against them, akin to firing bullets while men are left with sticks to defend themselves. In the arena of intimacy, women typically hold a distinct advantage during marriage or divorce. For things to improve, and for men to consider marriage as a viable option, we must introduce incentives into the equation. To address this issue effectively, men should be presented with more balanced incentives throughout the process. At the root of many global issues lies a lack of personal accountability and humility, traits that seem scarce among modern Western women. It's essential to note that many of these women are far from being genuinely single. They often have multiple suitors in their lives, albeit primarily for recreational purposes. Adopting a combative, self-serving attitude tends to deter potential partners from committing to a long-term relationship. Sadly, the realization often dawns upon them later in life when their looks start to wane. However, by then, it may be too late to reverse their course, and they often place the blame squarely on men's shoulders. Women's toxicity. It's amusing to observe how some women choose partners who embody the very traits they complain about, seemingly without recognizing their role in the selection process. Good men, who might have been the perfect match, often remain invisible because of this love-hate relationship with toxic behaviors. As a result, many women find themselves single by choice. It's increasingly common to see situations where men are singled out and held accountable for their actions, with the expectation that they provide their wives or live-in partners with financial support. This practice of allocating a specific sum of money to women can seem quite unreasonable. It's striking to witness this shift where men are being viewed as financial transgressors, penalized for supposed mistreatment of their partners by putting them on a budget. From my perspective, feminism, which once aimed for gender equality, appears to have evolved into something quite different. While its original goals, such as securing voting rights, access to automobiles, and employment opportunities for women, have largely been achieved, the movement has not evolved in line with its objectives. Instead, it has taken on a more authoritarian nature, one that threatens the social and family structures prevalent in much of the Western world. It's even challenging the concept of nuclear families, with men increasingly hesitant to pursue marriage, and women seeking to assume traditionally male roles within households. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can be the first to know when my new video drops. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.